Happiness through curiosity on TRS Clips. What kind of genius does it take to create a country that's divided by another country? Like that's split up by a massive country in the middle.
Yeah.
What was this logic? Like, why was this even a thing? I don't buy that it was just religion. There's got to be some geopolitical angle here. Maybe the British, I think the last podcast you said that they wanted to keep Pakistan as a powerful entity, which is why they combined Balochistan, etc. But at the same time, don't make them too powerful. That's why keep a part of their country on the other side of India.
No, because the population mix was such that this was the majority population, Muslim population area.
You're talking about Bangladesh.
Bangladesh, East Pakistan then. And therefore the two separate parts, which were the Muslim majority, this is what Jinnah had said, these are the Muslim majority areas. So even though they were separated by, India, it was decided that there will be East Pakistan and West Pakistan.
Man, but I would look at it as like another sort of Sri Lanka kind of place. You know, that's the logical thing to do on the British behalf, on the behalf of the leadership at the time. They should have just like made it a separate country back then. There has to be some underlying logic as to why.
But then again, that would mean that you're accepting another nationality. You see, as I said, Jinnah just looked at Hindus and Muslims.
Okay.
There's one entity. So wahan majority hai, yahan majority hai, so they become one. If you accept, then the Pashtuns would say, we want to separate, as Ghaffar Khan said. Pashtunistan, the Bengalis, so he couldn't accept this.
Okay.
Therefore this. So the crackdown happened, Mukti Bahini was formed, they fought against the Pakistan army. Interestingly, under Ayub Khan, there was, after the 65 war, the army doctrine was defense of the East lies in the West. That means if India were to attack East Pakistan, West Pakistan would attack India and make sure that East Pakistan remains safe. Defense of the East lies in the West. But once the 71 war began, Yahya Khan dithered from attacking. He did attack Pakistan on the preemptive strike, but did not do it fully. As a result, East Pakistan was left on its own, defenseless. And Niazi, one of the same tribe as Imran Khan, they deployed their forces in penny packets all along the border. When the Indian come, we'll stop them there. Instead of, the basic element, rule in military deployment is you concentrate your force. Instead of concentrating them around Dhaka, because without Dhaka, it'd be very difficult to declare victory. So what the Indian army did was they bypassed these penny pockets. Some they defeated, so they bypassed it and raced towards Dhaka. By the time Niazi realized it, it was too late. He was surrounded and surrendered, and then Bangladesh came into existence.
Bound to happen because wars are won or lost based on logistics. If your massive chunk of your military equipment, food, logistics are connected to the war zone, you'll probably win the war. But here you're divided by a massive landmass called Bharat. You're trying to have a war on that side.
Overflights had been stopped, so everything had to come via Colombo and down this thing. So
bound to happen. So I mean, we were,
and they were not getting any intelligence because the Bengalis were totally alienated.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is not surprising at all that this was the outcome, and I'm sure people expected this to happen in that period between 1971 and 1947. Like, they probably would have expected Bangladesh to break away anyway.
I think Mountbatten, somebody had made this prediction even then. This is not going to survive more than 25 years.
Okay.
But if the West Pakistani elite had, decentralized, better invested in East Pakistan, maybe they could have prolonged it. But that was not the army mentality.
Okay. In this same phase, is there a Cold War element also in Pakistan? Were they truly supplied by America when it comes to equipment in the same way that people believe that India was an economic colony of Russia and Pakistan was an economic colony of America? Is that true?
I don't think so. India was an economic colony. Yes, arms supplies were coming from Russia as Pakistan was receiving from Pakistan. You see, the one critical element in this whole thing was that it was during 1970 that Yahya Khan acted as a messenger for Nixon and Kissinger to China. Kissinger landed in Pakistan, and then he made a big show of going to Murray, but actually took a flight and went to Beijing and met Zhou Enlai and met Mao Zedong. That was the US opening to China. And the Americans were always grateful to Pakistan for having facilitated it. And Zhou Enlai made this famous statement that when he met Yahya Khan, he said, "We believe the message you are coming because it is from a president to another president through another president." Nixon, Mao, Yahya Khan. So, Pakistan was in very good books. The Blood Telegram, which was written by the US Embassy in Dhaka, a consulate in Dhaka, they detailed the kind of brutality the Pakistan army was indulging in. It's called the Blood Telegram. The entire mission wrote the telegram. But the Americans just ignored it because they had a larger game, this geopolitics that you're talking about, they had a larger game of China. So they ignored the killings that were taking place, which Pakistan was doing.
Okay. Honestly, I'm actually not finding it easy to traverse through this conversation because there's so much that's happened in this time period. When we're talking about pre-independence Pakistan, it's like a pretty linear line about how it got formed. Here, there's geopolitical angles, there's a Cold War angle, there are the wars that took place.
And then USS 6th Fleet moved into the Bay of Bengal as a threat to India during the war.
What year was this?
71.
71.
During the 71 war, the US 6th Fleet moved into the Bay of Bengal as to threaten India that don't mess around with East Pakistan.
Okay, and the geopolitical angle here is that Nehru was close to Russians. Nehru was socialist in his mindset.
This time with Indira Gandhi. By the time 71 was Indira Gandhi. Prior to that,
the Gandhi family probably was viewed as an ally to socialism, which is Russia at that time. Therefore, America took that stance of being our enemy because they were just opposed to Russia.
Yeah, and Pakistan was willing to give bases to the US. If you remember the famous U-2 incident, when the US planes, U-2 planes, used to fly over the Soviet Union based out of Peshawar.
Oh. Okay.
And Gary, he was shot down and captured by the Russians, the Soviets at that time. There was no way India would have given any bases. So in the Cold War scenario, it was the US was Pakistan, and Pakistan had joined these various blocs, SEATO, CENTO, Baghdad Pact, and things like that.
Okay.
And India was following a non-aligned policy.
Why didn't we side with the US at that point?
That was the policy of the Congress government. We were non-aligned. We were leaders of the non-aligned movement. We didn't want to be part of power blocks. We wanted to keep the power blocks away from the subcontinent.
What was the administrative thinking at that point? Like, was there a lack of geopolitical understanding?
No. This was I think, non-alignment was an excellent thing that you keep away from both the blocks.
And you focus on your own growth.
Yeah. And when you need weapons, you take it from whoever is going to give you.
Do you think that was the right move?
Yeah, I think so. At that time, you see, we were not a developed country. We were not even a developing country. We were pretty, food, for example. There was food scarcity, food shortages, all kinds of problems India was facing. So if you got involved in bloc politics, it would have been... so I think that was absolutely right.
Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to TRS Clips for more.